My name is Kara, and I am 33 years old. As they lowered the coffin of my husband into the ground, I stood alone. No parents, no sister, no friends. Just me, the priest, two workers with shovels, and a small cluster of strangers from his office who had met me only a few times. The sky was gray. The air was cold. As the first thud of dirt hit the wooden lid, my phone buzzed in my pocket. A message from my mother. "We need to talk about tomorrow. Call me as soon as you see this." Below that, 20 missed calls, not from people asking where the funeral was. Calls from my family, who were busy with something else they felt was more important. My sister Leanne was having her lavish baby shower that afternoon. They had all chosen balloons and brunch over burial. If you were in my place, what would you have done? Liam and I met 5 years ago at a training seminar my company forced us to attend. I worked in corporate communications. He was a software developer who had been bribed with free lunch to be there. Halfway through a painfully boring presentation, the projector froze. The speaker panicked. The audience groaned. Liam walked quietly to the front of the room, bent over the laptop, pressed 3 keys, and the projector came back to life. The room clapped. The speaker called him a hero. He looked embarrassed. After the session, I jokingly asked, "So, do you rescue dying presentations for a living?" He smiled, that slow, warm smile that would later become my favorite thing in the world. "Only when they are suffering," he replied. We ended up in the same group at lunch. He asked about my work, my interests, my favorite books. He listened in a way very few people ever had, like there was nothing else in the room but us. At the end of the day, he walked me to the parking lot and asked if I wanted to grab coffee sometime. That coffee turned into dinner. Dinner turned into weekends. Weekends turned into 3 years of dating and then 2 years of marriage. Our life was not glamorous, but it was ours. We shared a small apartment with mismatched furniture, a leaky bathroom faucet, and a view of a parking lot. We also shared inside jokes, late-night talks, and a sense of safety I had never felt in my parents' house. We wanted children someday, a house with a little yard, maybe a dog that would track mud into the kitchen. Nothing extraordinary to anyone else, everything to us. We did not get there. The problem, according to my family, was not Liam as a person. It was what he represented. The parents of Liam were both teachers who had spent their lives working in public schools. They were warm, practical people who believed in hard work, kindness, and savings accounts. My parents believed in something else: image, status, being seen at the right restaurants with the right people, posting the right photos, making sure the outside of their life looked perfect even when the inside was crumbling. My mother, Diane, ran a small upscale boutique and liked to introduce herself as a business owner. My father, Mark, had inherited a stake in a family real estate company and liked to remind everyone of it. Leanne, my younger sister, was their masterpiece. She had the blonde hair, the social media following, the perfect filters. She posted weekly videos titled things like Morning Mindset and Manifest Your Dream Life, while living entirely off support from our parents and brand deals for products she never actually used. I was the older one, the one who did not cause trouble, who did well in school, who followed the rules. Then I met Liam and ruined the script. When I first brought him home for dinner, he brought flowers for my mother and a bottle of mid-range wine for my father. He complimented the house. He tried to make conversation. My mother smiled politely, but her eyes were sharp. "So, Liam, what do your parents do again?" she asked. "They teach at Lincoln High," he said. "Mom teaches English. Dad teaches history." "Oh," she said. "Public school." She said the words like they were a diagnosis. My father leaned back in his chair. "And your career, what is the long-term plan there?" he asked. "I am a senior developer now," Liam said calmly. "I enjoy what I do. I am working toward a lead position at my firm." "Software is very unstable," my father replied. "Tech companies fold all the time. Real estate is where the real money is." Leanne smiled in that way she always did when she sensed drama. "Kara has always liked underdog projects," she said lightly. "Remember when she tried to rescue that stray cat with the broken leg and it ruined the rug?" Everyone laughed. I did not. After that dinner, my mother pulled me aside in the kitchen. "You could do better, Kara," she said. "There are lawyers, doctors, executives, men who could really elevate your life. You deserve someone who can provide the lifestyle you should have." "Liam provides what matters," I replied. "Respect, support, love." She shook her head like I was a child who did not understand simple math. "You will regret this," she said. "One day you will look around at what your sister has and wonder why you settled." My parents never fully accepted him. They attended our wedding because it would have been too scandalous not to. They sat stiffly during the ceremony and barely spoke to the parents of Liam. During the reception, my mother spent most of the time checking the floral arrangements and complaining that the food was too simple. My father spent most of it at the bar, telling anyone who would listen about some property deal. Leanne took more photos of herself than of us, but I had Liam and his parents and our friends. I told myself that was enough. At first, everyone pretended to be supportive. My parents would invite us to dinners, ask polite questions, and then pivot the conversation toward Leanne. Leanne had decided to become an influencer. That was the word she used. She started with makeup tutorials, then morning routines, then brand collaborations. My parents treated her sponsored posts like medical degrees. "Leanne has tripled her followers in a month," my mother would say, glowing. "She is in talks with a wellness company." They never asked about the campaign I had just finished at work. They never asked about the promotion Liam had received. Liam would squeeze my knee under the table, his way of saying, "I see you, even when they do not." My best friend Mia watched this dynamic for years. She was around for every forgotten birthday, every school performance my parents missed, every time my achievements were brushed aside in favor of Leanne. She used to say things like, "Your parents are harsh, but deep down they love you, and they just show it badly." Over time, I started to notice that Mia spent more and more time with Leanne. At first, it was innocent. They went to yoga together, then they started appearing in each other's social media posts. Then Mia was helping Leanne film content and travel to events. She started canceling plans with me due to collabs and brand meetings with Leanne. I told myself it was fine. People drift, lives change. I had Liam. That was enough. Or so I thought. 3 months before Liam died, he started having chest pain. He dismissed it as stress, deadlines, meetings, too much caffeine. We both did. Then one night, he collapsed in the kitchen. The mug shattered on the floor. He went white, then gray. I called an ambulance with shaking hands, my mind refusing to process what I was seeing. At the hospital, they told us he had a congenital heart condition that had gone undetected. Years of silent strain had built up like cracks in a dam. "We need to operate," the cardiologist said. "Soon. There are risks either way, but without intervention, his chances are very poor." We consented. What else could we do? I sat in the waiting room for 8 hours while they tried to repair the heart of the person who had repaired so much inside me. His parents drove in from 3 hours away, faces drawn but steady. My parents did not come. I had called my mother from the hospital bathroom, choking on fear. "Mom, they are taking Liam into emergency surgery," I said. She paused. "Oh, Kara, that sounds serious," she replied. "Keep us updated. We have a design consultation this afternoon, and your sister has a brand meeting. Maybe we can come by later in the week." "Later in the week," Mia texted. "I am so sorry. I have a shoot with Leanne today. Can I come tomorrow?" Liam survived the surgery. The repair was partial. The damage already done over years could not be reversed fully, the doctor warned us. "He is at high risk," she said. "We have bought time, but it may not be much. Months, perhaps. A year, if we are lucky." The word lucky twisted in my chest. I took leave from work so I could care for him. We adjusted his diet, his activity, his schedule. He walked slowly now. He slept often. He apologized constantly for being a burden. "You are not a burden," I told him. "You are the reason I get up in the morning." I updated my family again and again. The responses were always the same. "So sad. So sorry to hear. We will pray." "Leanne is working on a big sponsorship right now, but we are thinking of you." Thinking, but not coming. Mia visited once. She stayed for 40 minutes. mostly talking about drama in her office and Leanne landing a new brand deal. She winced when she saw the medication bottles. "I hate hospitals," she said quietly. "They freak me out." "You are in my living room," I replied. "This is our couch." She laughed weakly. "You know what I mean." Then she was too busy again. Always too busy. The text from my mother came on a Tuesday night. "Big news," it said. "Call when you can." I was in the bedroom, helping Liam change. Even lifting his arms was hard now. His skin bruised easily from the blood thinners. I called her back after I settled him into bed. "Liam is asleep," I said quietly. "What is going on?" "We are planning the baby shower," my mother said, her voice bright with excitement. "Leanne and Tyler just found out the gender. We want to make it special." Tyler was the latest sponsor, friendly boyfriend. He had a real estate license and a carefully maintained jawline. "I am glad things are going well for them," I said. "When is the shower?" 2 weeks from Sunday," she replied. "At the Lakeside Hotel. Brunch buffet, balloon arch, photographer, the works. It will be a beautiful day." I felt my stomach sink. "Mom," I said slowly. "The doctor told us Liam may have only a few weeks. He is getting weaker every day. I cannot leave him for hours." There was a pause that I recognized. It was the pause my mother always used when she was about to say something unpleasant, but believed she was being logical. "Kara, listen," she said. "You have to think of the bigger picture. This is the first grandchild in the family. This shower is important. You can arrange for a nurse or his parents to sit with him for a few hours. He would want you to support your sister." "He wants me to be with him," I replied. "He knows he is dying." "People die every day," my mother said. "New life is something to celebrate. Leanne should not have her joy overshadowed by your situation." My situation. As if it was a parking ticket, I hung up before I said something I could not take back. Liam had heard enough to understand. "You should go," he whispered later. "I do not want to be the reason you miss family events." "You are the reason that any event matters," I said. "I am not going." Liam declined faster than any of us expected. One night, he woke gasping, clutching his chest. The paramedics came again. The monitors in the emergency room beeped in frantic patterns, then slower ones. The cardiologist came out to the hall and sat down beside me. "We have done everything we can," she said gently. "His heart cannot sustain him any longer." I went back into the room. The parents of Liam were there, each holding one of his hands. Tubes snaked across his chest. His skin had a waxy pallor. "Kara," he whispered when I sat beside him. His voice was thin, but his eyes were clear. "I am here," I said. "I am not going anywhere." "Promise me something," he said. "Anything." "Do not let this destroy you," he murmured. "You deserve a full life, even if I cannot be in it. Find people who see you, who choose you, the way I did. Do not keep chasing the ones who never did." Tears blurred my vision. "I do not know how to do this without you," I said. "You will," he said. "You always figured things out. That is what I love about you." Loved. Past tense. He died 2 hours later at 4:16 in the morning. The world did not stop. Machines beeped. Nurses walked by. Somewhere down the hall, someone laughed. I sat frozen in that chair as they turned off the monitors and carefully removed the tubes from his body. His mother sobbed quietly. His father stared at the floor, jaw clenched, hands shaking. My phone sat silent on the tray table. No one from my side of the family even knew he was gone yet. We had discussed arrangements when he was still able to talk about practical things. He wanted a simple service, no religious formalities, a few songs he loved, a short gathering, not a spectacle. His parents and I went to the funeral home the next day. Choosing an urn felt like choosing between versions of reality cremation made sense. Burial made it feel more final. In the end, we agreed on cremation and a small service at the chapel attached to the funeral home, followed by burial of the urn in a family plot the parents of Liam owned. The director asked about dates. It was a Friday. "Sunday is open," he said, "or Tuesday." My heart sank. The baby shower was Sunday. "Tuesday," I said quietly. "We will do it Tuesday." I texted my parents that night. "Liam died this morning," I wrote. Funeral service will be Tuesday at 10. Funeral home is on Maple Avenue. Please come. My mother responded first. Kara, we are so sorry. This is tragic. We wish he had more time. We have the shower on Sunday and guests staying until Monday. We will see what we can do about Tuesday. My father texted, Sorry to hear. Send details and we will check schedules. Leanne added a message. That is so sad. I feel awful. This weekend is insane with planning, but I will try to get there if I can. Love you. Mia replied, with what seemed like genuine care. I am so sorry, Kara. I will be there Tuesday. Just tell me what you need. Her text was the only one that soothed me. The next 3 days blurred. I chose photos for a slideshow. I wrote an obituary. I stared at the suit hanging in the closet that he would never wear again. On Monday night, I checked my phone before trying to sleep. My family chat was full of photos from the shower. Leanne is in a pink dress under a balloon arch. My mother is holding a cake shaped like a baby carriage. My father is making toast. Mia is in the background of videos, laughing, clapping, and holding wrapped gifts. Not once in any of the posts did anyone mention that the husband of Kara had died less than 48 hours earlier. I closed the app and turned off my screen Tuesday morning. I put on a black dress that did not feel like mine, shoes that pinched, and a jacket that still smelled faintly of Liam from the last time he had hugged me while I wore it. The parents of Liam met me at the funeral home. Our small group sat together in the front row of the chapel as people trickled in. His coworkers came. His manager came. 2 neighbors from our building came. The librarian from the branch where he worked on weekends in their coding club came people who knew him, people he had helped, people who cared. At 9:45, I checked my phone. No messages, no calls, no, I am running late texts from my family or from Mia. At 9:58, the director approached. We can begin whenever you are ready, he said gently. I looked back at the 3 empty seats I had reserved for my parents and my sister. The 4th seat beside them is for Mia. We are ready, I said. The service was honest and kind. People stood up and told stories about him, the way he would stay late to help a colleague, the way he made coffee for the entire office when he arrived early, the way he fixed a teenager's laptop for free at the library was because he remembered being that kid once. When it was my turn to speak, my legs nearly gave out. I stood at the podium and looked at the faces turned toward me. None of them belonged to the people who were supposed to be there from the moment I was born. My husband was not impressive by the standards of my family, I began. He did not own property. He did not have a glamorous job title. He did not travel in elite circles, but he was the most decent human being I have ever known. My voice shook, but I kept going. He showed up. For people, always. Even when no one showed up for him, I wish the people who judged him had given themselves the chance to know him. I did not mention my parents by name. I did not need to. After the service, the small procession drove to the cemetery. The wind had picked up, whipping my hair around my face. The pastor said a brief prayer. The urn was lowered into the ground. As the first shovel of dirt landed with a dull thud, my phone vibrated in my pocket. I ignored it. Another buzz, then another. The parents of Liam stepped back to give me a moment alone. I watched the ground cover the physical remains of the only person who had ever really felt like home to me. Only when the crew was finished and people began to drift away did I pull my phone out. 22 missed calls, 7 from my mother, 5 from my father, 4 from Leanne, 6 from Mia. A new message from my mother sat at the top of the screen. We need to talk today. It is important. Not, were we at the wrong place? Not, we are on our way? Not, are you all right? Just business. The house felt hollow when I walked back in. The last place where the laughter of Liam had echoed now swallowed every sound. I made tea because I needed to perform some normal action that did not involve crying. The mug shook in my hand. My phone buzzed again. An email notification this time. It was from Aaron, one of the colleagues of Liam. The subject line read, "You may want to see this." I opened it. "I am so sorry for your loss, Kara," he had written. "I was at the Westbridge Hotel on Sunday for a meeting. I recognized your sister from social media and realized your family was there. I did not want to intrude, but I captured this because it felt deeply wrong. I hesitated to send it, but I think you deserve to know. I mean no harm. Below the text was a video file. My throat tightened even before I clicked play. The footage showed a private dining room, a long table covered in pink and gold decorations. A banner on the wall read, "Welcome, baby." At the head of the table sat Leanne and Tyler, grinning for the camera as someone filmed a toast. My father was standing, holding a champagne flute. "We are so proud of Leanne," he said. "She has always been our shining star. She is bringing new life into this family today. We celebrate her future." The camera panned slightly. I recognized my mother sitting beside Leanne. To her right, Mia, laughing, holding a mimosa. Someone off-screen said something about me. The voice was muffled by the crowd. My mother rolled her eyes. "Kara called again last night," she said, "at 2 a.m. Said Liam might not make it through the night. She expects us to come rushing over every time his heart skips a beat." Laughter rippled around the table. My father shook his head. "It is sad," he said, "but she has always been dramatic. If we canceled every important event in our lives for every health scare of her husband, we would never celebrate anything. We are here for our grandchild. This is where we belong." Leanne took the glass from him. "Kara could have planned things better," she said with a pout. "She knew we had this booked. It is not my fault if she chose a fragile man. She should have picked someone more robust." Mia leaned in toward her. "She always did love to be the center of a crisis," Mia added. "Remember when she acted like not getting that promotion was the end of the world? Or when she cried for days because you got more attention at graduation?" More laughter. "Some people feed off sympathy," Leanne said. "I refuse to let her ruin my pregnancy experience. This day is about joy." The video ended there. I stared at the black screen. For a moment, I wondered if I had imagined the entire relationship of my life with these people, if I had misunderstood everything. Then I remembered the years of being the second choice, the missed school events, the forgotten birthdays, the way Leanne's achievements were celebrated as miracles, while mine were treated as obligations. The difference now was that I had proof, not just a feeling, evidence. My mother called again that evening. I let it go to voicemail. Then a text arrived. "This silence is childish, Kara. We need to discuss the trust and some changes we are making. This affects your future. Call us tomorrow morning." The word trust caught my attention. Not emotional trust, financial. My parents had always spoken casually about the trust, an inheritance from my grandparents, a fund that would be divided between the girls one day. It was never framed as something I could rely on, more as an occasional reminder that they controlled my future. I did not have the energy to decode legal documents while my grief was this raw, so I called the one person who had shown up for me consistently in the weeks leading up to the funeral, besides the parents of Liam. My coworker, Nora, was the opposite of Leanne, quiet, observant, allergic to drama. She had covered my projects at work while I was caring for Liam. She had brought meals to our door and left them on the mat when he was too sick for visitors. Her husband, Daniel, was an estate lawyer. When she answered, I could barely form words. "My parents want me to sign something about a trust," I said, "the day of the funeral, or the day after. I cannot remember. Time is a blur." "Do not sign anything," she said immediately. "Forward whatever they send to me and to Daniel. He can look it over." Within an hour, an email arrived from my father with the subject line, "Family Trust Amendments." I sent it to Daniel. He called me the next morning. "Kara," he said, his voice serious, "this document would remove you entirely from the trust of your grandparents. Your share would be reassigned to Leanne. You would be required to sign this amendment as a beneficiary for it to hold." The words felt like background noise to the bigger realization. They did not just value Leanne more emotionally. They had decided to erase me financially as well, and to do it while I was planning and attending the funeral of my husband. "What happens if I refuse?" I asked. "Then the original trust stands," he said. "Equal distribution between you and your sister. They cannot change that without your consent." So that was why the calls were so urgent. Not grief, paperwork. They came to my door on Thursday, my parents, Leanne, Mia. I saw them through the small camera screen before they rang. For a moment, I considered pretending I was not home, letting them believe whatever story made them feel better. Instead, I opened the door. My mother stepped forward, arms outstretched as if for a hug. "Kara, finally," she said. "We have been worried sick." I stepped back so she could not touch me. "You missed the funeral," I said. No greeting, no small talk. My father shifted uncomfortably. Leanne rolled her eyes. Mia looked at the floor. "We already explained," my mother said. The shower became a whole weekend of events. Guests from out of town. We could not simply abandon them. "My husband died," I said. "The man I built my life with. You had 3 days. You did not come." "You always make everything about you," Leanne muttered under her breath. I met her gaze. "I saw the video," I said. "The brunch, the toasts, the comments." Silence. "My whole life is in that video," I said. "Not just that day, every time you called me dramatic. Every time you said I was exaggerating. Every time you choose what makes you look good instead of what is right. It is all there." My mother folded her arms. "You are overreacting," she said. "That clip does not show everything. We were just trying to keep the atmosphere light." It was a celebration. "It was a celebration paid for with my grief," I replied. "You laughed about my husband dying. You turned his last night into an inconvenience." My father cleared his throat. "We did not laugh about his death," he said stiffly. "We were uncomfortable. People say things when they feel awkward. It was poor wording, that is all." "No," I said. "It was honesty. You finally said out loud what you always thought, that I asked too much, that my pain is an interruption, that Leanne is the priority, always." Leanne threw up her hands. "This is so unfair," she said. "Everything is always my fault. I am sorry your husband died, Kara, but I am pregnant. That shower was important. You could have arranged something. You did not have to schedule everything to collide with my life." "Arrange his death for another weekend," I said quietly. "Is that what you mean?" She scoffed. "You are twisting my words." Mia finally spoke, her voice small. "Kara, none of us meant to hurt you. We really did think you understood that we could not cancel everything. We thought you knew we were thinking about you, even if we were not physically there." I looked at her. "You promised you would be at the funeral," I said. "You said you would be early. You said you would bring coffee." She winced. "I overslept," she said. "We were up late after the shower. I set my alarm, but I must have turned it off. When I woke up and saw the time, I felt sick. I tried calling you." "So you chose not to be there," I said. "Leanne chose. My parents chose. You all chose. There was no accident, just priorities." My mother exhaled sharply, as if bored with the conversation. "We did not come here to argue about the past," she said. "We came because we are worried about you. You are pushing us away when you need family the most." "You are not my family," I said. The room went still. My father frowned. "Do not say things you will regret later," he said. "We are your parents. That will never change." "You are my biological parents," I said. "That is a fact. So is this one. When I needed you most, you were not there. When I asked for help, you ignored me. When my husband was dying, you complained about your schedule. When he was being buried, you were at brunch." My mother opened her mouth. I held up a hand. "Do not interrupt me," I said. "For once, you are going to listen." They quieted, more from surprise than respect. "I watched the video," I continued. "I watched you dismiss my calls. I watched you joke about my pain. I watched my best friend laugh along. I have spent my entire life making excuses for your behavior, saying you show love differently, saying you do not know how to express yourself. That ends today." I walked to the coffee table and picked up a folder. Inside were printed copies of the trust amendment. "This is what you really came for," I said, holding it up. "Not to comfort me, not to grieve with me. You came because you want my signature on this." My father bristled. "That is an important legal matter," he said. "It is about protecting the family assets. We felt it was better aligned with Leanne's responsibilities. She will have children. She will carry on the name. So my usefulness ends because my husband died and I do not have a baby," I said. That is what you are telling me. Do not twist this, my mother snapped. You know how fragile investments are these days. Leanne has the lifestyle and connections to maintain them. You do not. This is about practicality, not love. It has never been about love, I said. Not with you. They stared at me as if I had slapped them. I set the folder back on the table. I am not signing anything, I said. The trust stays as it was written. Equal. You do not get to erase me because I no longer fit your picture. My father's voice hardened. If you refuse, there will be consequences, he said, financial and personal. They already happened, I said. You already chose your side. You chose it the second you decided a shower mattered more than your daughter burying her husband. Leanne stood abruptly. This is ridiculous, she said. You are dragging this out because you want attention. You always make yourself the victim. I am pregnant, and you are stressing me out. You should be happy for me instead of making everything dark. I am grieving, I said. That is not drama. That is reality. There it is again, she said, laughing bitterly. Your reality, your pain, your crisis. I am done with it. For once we agree, I said. She stared at me, confused. This is the last time I will allow you to talk to me like this, I said evenly. After today, there will be no more conversations. My mother shook her head. You are not thinking clearly, she said. Grief is clouding your judgment. Grief has cleared it, I replied. I see everything now. Every missed dance recital replaced by Leanne's. Every forgotten award ceremony, every birthday you skipped while planning something for her. I thought if I worked harder, if I behaved better, if I chose the right partner, maybe you would finally be proud of me. Maybe you would finally show up. I gestured toward the door. You have shown me who you are, I said. Believe it or not, that is a gift. I will not ignore it. Mia stepped forward, tears in her eyes. Kara, please, she said. Do not cut us off. We can fix this. I know I failed you. I know I should have been there. I was weak and selfish. I let Leanne pull me into her world, and I liked being near your parents' approval. I am ashamed of myself, truly. But please, do not end 20 years of friendship like this. I will do anything to make it right. For a moment, my chest ached with history sleepovers, school projects, shared secrets. The first time I told her I liked Liam, the way she smiled and said she was happy for me. Then I saw her in that video, laughing as my mother belittled me, calling me dramatic because I was watching my husband die. I believe you are sorry, I said quietly. But you were there the night I needed you. You had a choice. You chose them. You chose the table where I was a joke instead of the chair beside me at the hospital. You chose mimosas over a funeral. Her face crumpled. I know, she whispered. I replay it every day. I cannot forgive myself. I do not have the strength to forgive you for both of us, I said. Not now. Maybe not ever. I need to heal. I cannot do that with you in my life. So that is it, she asked. You are cutting me off. I am setting a boundary, I said. You have broken my trust too many times. I will not give you another chance to step on me. She nodded slowly, tears slipping down her cheeks. I understand, she said. I hate it, but I understand. She walked to the door and opened it, then turned back. I am sorry, Kara, she said, more than you will ever know. I did not answer. She left. My parents and Leanne remained in the living room, suddenly unsure of their footing without her there to absorb tension. My father tried one more time. This is not a wise decision, he said. Family is all you have when life falls apart. I looked at him. When my life fell apart, I said, you were not there. My mother pointed toward the hallway. You are not thinking about the future, she said. One day you will need us. You will get old. You will get sick. You will regret pushing us away. I already got sick, I said. Not my body, my trust. You were the infection. Removing you is the treatment. Her mouth opened and closed like she could not find the right script. I stepped to the door and held it open. This conversation is over, I said. I will not sign your papers. I will not pretend this is a misunderstanding. I will not accept your version of love anymore. My father straightened his shoulders. "If you walk away from this family now," he said, "do not expect us to come running back later." I met his eyes. "There it is," I said. "The truth. It was never about my healing. It was about control. You can keep it. You will have no one left to use it on." My mother brushed past me, her perfume leaving a bitter trace in the air. "You are being cruel," she said, "after everything we have done for you." "You did it for the image of you," I replied. "Not for me." Leanne stormed toward the door, hand on her stomach. "I hope you enjoy being alone," she said. "You pushed away the only family you had." I thought of Liam's parents, who had stayed overnight at the hospital so I could shower. I thought of Nora, who had sat in my kitchen and watched me fall apart without flinching. I thought of the neighbors who had brought food and the co-workers who had taken over my workload. "I am not alone," I said. "I just have fewer people hurting me." She scoffed and walked out. My father was the last to leave. He paused on the threshold. "This is your choice," he said. "Do not blame us when you realize what you have lost." "I have already lost what mattered most," I answered. "You cannot touch that, and I cannot lose what I never really had." He shook his head and stepped outside. I closed the door behind them. For a long moment I stood with my forehead pressed against the wood, my hand on the lock. The house was quiet, but it did not feel empty in the same way it had after the funeral. This silence felt different, not the silence of abandonment, the silence of distance, of space, of finally stepping out of a room where I had been begging for scraps of affection my entire life. I walked back into the living room. Their presence still lingered, the indentation of my father on the couch, the faint scent of my mother's perfume. Leanne's half-finished water glass is on the table. I picked up the water and poured it down the sink. Then I opened a window and let fresh air in my phone lay on the coffee table where I had left it. A new message from my mother appeared as I watched. "You are making a terrible mistake. You will regret this when your grief fades." I deleted it without reading the rest. Then I scrolled to another conversation, one with Nora. "Are you free later?" I typed. "I could use some company." Her reply came almost immediately. "I am on my way," she wrote. "Do you want soup, coffee, or both?" I stared at the screen for a moment, then felt something shift inside my chest, a small, fragile warmth. I walked into the bedroom and picked up the framed photo of Liam on the nightstand. It was from the first trip we had taken together. His hair was messy from the wind. His eyes were crinkled at the corners from laughing. "I did it," I said softly to the empty room. "I chose me. You were right. I deserve that." There was no answer, of course, only the faint hum of the street outside and the whisper of air coming through the window. But as I stood there, holding the picture, I did not feel like a woman with nothing left. I felt like a woman at the starting line of a life that would hurt for a long time, but would also, slowly, make room for something better. Not easy, not perfect, but honest. The people who did not show up for me had finally lost their place in my life. The man who always had will never be replaced, but his love would not end beneath the ground where his body lay. It would live in my choices, in my boundaries. As I set the frame back down, the doorbell rang. Nora. I wiped my face, took a breath, and walked toward the sound. This time, when I opened the door, I was not waiting to be chosen. I was letting in someone who already had,